ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Friday, May 9th. The weekend is here, and your drive is now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line is ready to go. Brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Hope you're all set for a great weekend, and we're going to get you started off right. Got a lot to get into today. Of course, softball yesterday, season coming to a close. We'll talk a little bit more about that. It was disappointing to see the Thundering Herd lose yesterday, but Marshall was picked 9th in the preseason, finished 2nd. So I'll take that as a positive. Also, we talked a little bit about it yesterday. Former WVU and Houston running back Tony Mathis Jr., now going to be a part of the Herd, and we'll talk a little bit more about what he brings to the Marshall backfield. We'll get into a little Bengals news today. A few new names signed, 13 rookies signed today, so we'll talk about that, get you updated on what's happening. And the NBA, we've got playoff action also in the NHL. We'll run down your MLB scoreboard, what you can expect for tonight. And, of course, we start with Marshall baseball on the road for its final Sun Belt away series. Thundering Herd in Atlanta, take it on Georgia State. Now, Marshall's got that last spot right now. Marshall's trying to hold on to that last spot. Marshall, 25-24, 10-14 in Sun Belt. That's the more important number. Georgia State, 24-26, 9-15 in Sun Belt play. So these two teams trying to vie for that final spot. So this is going to be some meaningful baseball. But Marshall, I think, is going to have this one. Marshall did drop the weekend series at Old Dominion, but at the same time, I feel good about this because Georgia State's on a 7-game skid, swept by Louisiana last weekend. Marshall's got a little bit more momentum. Is that fair to say? I mean, let's be honest with you. You got two teams that are scrapping to get that last spot. Marshall right now in that last spot. So scrappy baseball is probably what we're going to see. We're going to see which team wants it more. I think it's going to be fair to talk about if the Thundering Herd realizes, look, we can get into the tournament, and then if we get into the tournament, anything can happen. That's the push. That's what we've talked about for years. I mean, let's go back to Dan D'Antoni talking about getting into the tournament. You get into the tournament, anything can happen. Marshall women's basketball got into the tournament, had a heck of a run. Didn't get all the way, but that was a gauntlet that the team had to go through. But anything can happen. So this sets up nicely. Taking on a Georgia State team that I think Marshall should have a chance of winning this series. If not winning this series, sweeping this series. Not only winning, sweeping this series. I hope I haven't spoken misfortune into being my hyping up the Thundering Herd. But we expect, hopefully, a good series. It gets underway tonight, 6 o'clock, and then Saturday, it's going to be 2 p.m. Sunday, it's going to be 1 p.m., and then next week, the Herd will be home for, hopefully, the start of a good run leading into the postseason. But baseball on the road this weekend, that's what we're pretty much keeping our eye on right now for the next couple of weeks as Marshall has an opportunity to get into the tournament. That's the big thing. Can you get into the tournament? And then can you do something in the tournament? And if you look at the standings right now, Marshall 10-14, App State's 11-13. So there's not too much difference there. And Georgia State, I apologize, a 8-game losing streak, not 7, 8-game losing streak. So Georgia State's lost 8 in a row. App State has lost 9 in a row. Marshall's only dropped 2 in a row. But there's a 1-game difference between App State, Marshall, and Georgia State right now. Georgia State 9-15, Marshall 10-14, App State 11-13. Not too much difference there. App State's 21-26 overall, but a little bit better than Marshall in conference. Marshall is a little bit better overall, 25-24. So I expect a dogfight the rest of the way. Coastal right now is almost untouchable. Coastal's won 9 straight. Southern Miss has won 9 straight, almost also untouchable at this moment. The top teams continue to be the top teams. Troy 16-8. Louisiana's 15-9. Old Dominion, 3-game win streak, beating the Herd 12-12 right now in league play. So that really boosted Old Dominion. But the top 4 teams, almost untouchable with Coastal Carolina and Southern Miss right there. And of course, Southern Miss, the 3 sports that fans care about most at Southern Miss is football, baseball, and spring football. I think in that order: football, spring football, baseball. You can juggle those around a little bit. Baseball's always been good for Southern Miss. But Marshall's 10-14. I don't think we can take anything away. Overall over 500. I'll absolutely take that any day of the week. And then you look at the rest of the way. You've got that midweek game at Virginia Tech. So 3 games at Georgia State. Then you've got a midweeker at Virginia Tech. You get that game, that's a lot of momentum right there. That will be a nice game to get. And then Georgia Southern. That'll be home series in Huntington. You finish strong against Georgia Southern, I think you're going to be in a good space. The only thing you got to worry about Georgia Southern is they're not terrible, but they're right there. It's a cluster. Actually, you start with Old Dominion, and I think Marshall could have won some of those games. So I'm a little disappointed in that series, but you start with Old Dominion 12-12. Georgia Southern's 12-13. Texas State's 12-13. Arkansas State's 11-13. App State 11-13. Marshall 10-14. So, are these winnable games? Yes. Can Marshall stay ahead of Georgia State? And you have an absolute opportunity to do that. You can solidify your spot. Not lock it in 100%, but you could solidify your spot by beating Georgia State. You sweep that series, you win that series, and then all of a sudden you're looking at the standings. And the only teams you got to worry about are South Alabama, James Madison, and ULM. ULM, I'm not even worried about them. 7-18, lost 7 in a row. James Madison, 15-34 overall, 8-16 in league. South Alabama, 8-16 in league, 19-26 overall. They could be an issue, but Marshall has the opportunity to pick up some ground. Maybe App State will lose its series, and Marshall can pick up some ground. You get into the tournament, you get into that, and then you're fine. It's a single elimination. May 20th, single elimination game. If Marshall's the 10 seed, it will face the 7 seed. If Marshall's the 9 seed, it will face the 8 seed. If by some miracle Marshall can work its way up to a 6 seed, it wouldn't play until Wednesday, May 21st. But you want to get into the tournament. You'll take the 10 seed, and you want to win that game because it's a single elimination game on the 20th. So that's where we're at with baseball right now. Let's hope that the Herd can get it done. And I'll tell you this right now. I don't have all the details just yet, but if Marshall does get into the conference tournament, we're going to be there. We'll have all those games. As long as the Herd stays alive, we're going to have those games right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I don't think I'm speaking out of turn. If I am, oh well. But we're going to carry those games. We'll have every single broadcast. It'll be live. So if Marshall can get in, we'll follow the Herd to hopefully the championship. But it would be, if you look at the schedule right now, if Marshall's in that 10 seed, and more than likely Marshall can finish 10 or 9. If Marshall finishes 10, it'll be a 4 o'clock game that Tuesday. And if Marshall would finish 9th or 8th, it would be a 7:30 p.m. game that day. The good news is if Marshall would win one of those games, either the 7-10 or the 8-9, Marshall would then play Wednesday later in the afternoon because there is a 10 a.m. game on the 21st between the 3 and the 6 seed. Bright and early, 10 a.m. I'm okay with some 10 a.m. baseball. I'm not going to lie to you. You wake up, get ready to go to work, get your breakfast in, get some coffee in, get some caffeine in, whatever you do, and then on your way to work, you can start thinking about, hey, 10 a.m., we got a baseball game. Hit that radio dial, lock it in. You can listen while you work. It'll be great. But If Marshall plays on Tuesday, May 20th, I'm thinking it's going to be the 7:10 game, and we'll have that game. It will probably be a little bit before 4 p.m., and you can hear all those games again right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We'll get your text in. Let's do that. Brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Looking forward to hearing from you as we get set for this edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Metro Community Federal Credit Union now brings you all the tech that big banks have, but still has that personal touch of a member-owned community credit union. Apple Pay? Got it. Digital wallet? Yep. Message pay by text, online loan payments, even chatting with a real person, not a bot. Open accounts, sign documents, and manage your money all online. It's the big bank tech you need from the local community-minded credit union you trust. Metro Community FCU. Visit metrocommunityfcu.com today.
It's baseball season, and baseball fans know the season can be long. You need something to help you through, and that something is Roosters at Pullman Square in Huntington. Roosters has over 40 big screen TVs, so your game is always on. And with their great daily specials, like the $3 featured appetizer of the week on Tuesdays, the season will be over before you know it. And if you're like me, fan of a losing team, there's nothing like Roosters wings to soften the blow. Roosters at Pullman Square in Huntington, a fun casual joint.
Here's another Kindred Communications Community Chatter. Thunder on the Rivers coming August 20th through the 24th in Ironton. There'll be vendors, live music, and much more. It's sponsored by Red Hawk Magazine and Nighttime Rides. For information, go to thunderontheriver.net. Proceeds benefit Towers to Tunnels and Folds of Honor.
This Kindred Communications Community Chatter brought to you by Classic Liquors, your adult beverage headquarters in Huntington and Canova. Get it all through their drive-through. Classic Liquors, simply the best.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Chuck McDowell here. If you were misled or lied to in any way when buying a timeshare, right now is your wake-up call. With the tariffs, economy tanking, and inflation rising, you might need to ask yourself this question. Is owning a timeshare a good idea? With all the economic uncertainty, you need to protect yourself and your family. Don't look back and say, if I'd have only got rid of that stupid timeshare they lied to me about. It's time to stop thinking about canceling your timeshare and finally get rid of it and be smart with your money. At Wesley Financial Group, we've saved 48,000 families an average of $65,000 in lifetime payments. Give us a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare permanently or you'll pay nothing.
Call Wesley for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-242-3131. 800-242-3131. 800-242-3131.
The soundtrack to your summer is back. Mount West 9th Street Live, downtown Huntington's favorite Friday night tradition. Presented by Michelob Ultra and White Claw. Kick off the summer Friday, May 16th. It's K&B Pest Control Night with Brad Goodall on the Marshall OBGYN stage. The Little Caesars Kids Zone is back, and Go Mart Happy Hour starts at 5. Enjoy food and drinks from the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, Sip Downtown Brasserie, and Summit Beer Station. Mark your calendar for next Friday, May 23rd for the Hooligans Homecoming Pre-Party. June 6th, 9th Street is Dead featuring John Ingram's Dead Center and the music of the Grateful Dead. The Thundering Herd Rally is Friday, August 15th. 9th Street Live is driven by University Ford and built by Cardinal Roofing. Every Friday night through Labor Day, 9th Street Live in Huntington, in between 3rd and 4th Avenues. Sponsored by Delta Hotels, Wendy's, Mountain Mindful, the City of Huntington, Marshall University, Blanco Glass Company, Marshall Health Network Arena, and Kindred Communications. Next Friday, it's Brad Goodall at Mount West 9th Street Live.
Big savings on women's shoes and accessories during the Big Mother's Day sale, May 8th through 11th at Scioto Shoe Mart. For the entire selection of women's dress and casual sandals by Clark's, Taos, Spring Step, and more, 20% off, Birkenstock excluded. Entire selection of women's apparel and accessories, 20% off. Women's Skechers, casual and walking sneakers, 20% off. And a large selection of assorted clearance sneakers by Skechers, Nike, New Balance, and more, 25% off clearance price. Incredible savings waiting for Mom and you during the Mother's Day sale, May 8th through 11th, Scioto Shoe Mart, 615 Harding Avenue, Sciotaville.
You're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
It's time to go to the text line, brought to you by Clark's Pump and Chomp at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Now, yesterday on the program, we had Wayne Ryan with us. He is the new executive director, WVSSAC. He's going to take the job over on July 1st. He'll be taking over for David Price, who has been there for a couple of years. So Ryan's been with the SSAC since 2016. He joined as an assistant executive director, and then he was promoted to associate executive director in May of 2024. Now, we had a great conversation with him yesterday, and then the power went off in the building. So I'm sitting here in the dark. My cell phone still works, so I gave Wayne a call back and told him what had happened because we were talking about the wrestling tournament and what it meant to Huntington and how Huntington has worked well with the WVSSAC, and we had to leave it there. And he said he can come back anytime. So he's very media friendly, willing to talk, willing to get the message out, willing to communicate. And so we're going to have him back on, which is great. If you missed the interview yesterday, go back, get it on the podcast. It's available, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. But we had some folks write in and wanted to talk about it yesterday and today. So first up, Texture said, new director of the WVSSAC. Been there how long? New perspectives or a lot of the same old talk? Well, he's been there since 2016, so I think he's got a fresher perspective. And also, if you do a little digging into him, he's been on both sides. He's been an administrator, he's been a coach, so he's been at the school level, and he's been in the organization. And he was really responsible for a lot of the day-to-day operations. He had sports to oversee. So I think he's got a well-rounded picture of what the job means. And I think he hit on a lot of points yesterday. So if you get a chance, go back, listen to the full interview, and you can make a decision for yourself as far as if you think he's going to be the right guy to lead the WVSSAC into the future. I was impressed when I talked to him yesterday. I think he's got everything he needs. He just has to get started here in a few weeks and start putting his own fingerprint on this position. Also from the text line, texter says, Paul, Quad A with all teams making playoffs is crazy. It makes the season pointless. I can see a place where you save the players who are exceptional and going to play above high school level. Don't play them or whole game, or save them for the important games or the playoffs because that's what matters. Getting rid of the great Friday night games we all love. Just a thought. Appreciate the text. And so I think the playoffs should be the reward for having a great season. Unfortunately, with so few teams in Quad A, almost every school gets in. What's the incentive for the regular season? Well, it's lessened. Or you could do something what Billy Seals is doing at Huntington High. Have you seen the Huntington High schedule? He's loading up. He's not killing himself and the team, but he's loading up and playing some schools that are really going to push the Huntington Highlanders. That's what impresses me. He's taken this quirk of the format and turned it into something that could get this team ready. Taking on Martinsburg. Most teams avoid Martinsburg. So taking on Martinsburg. And then going to play a school in Tennessee. Also taking on Oakland GRC. And, of course, you get the regular schools you have to play. Spring Valley, Hurricane, Capital, Parkersburg, Cabell Midland, George Washington. But you're at Lindsley. And you're also going to Tennessee to take on, I believe it said Cedar County. Billy will correct me if I'm wrong on that. But I think Huntington has taken the right approach. All right, well, we have a pretty good shot at getting in. It's 16 teams, and almost every team gets in. So let's go ahead and put some better schools on the schedule that we normally wouldn't face to get us ready. And that includes playing out of state. That includes playing Martinsburg. Get ready. And then once the playoffs begin, you've taken on some really tough teams, or at least you hope you've taken on some tough teams, and you've faced your regular schedule. The point system, of course, might not benefit Billy in a way that's going to get him home all throughout the playoffs. Might have to go on the road. Who knows? You beat a school like Martinsburg, you're going to get a lot of points. If Cabell Midland's good, Spring Valley's good, you can get some points off of them. You can get some points here. If you're trying to game this so you can get home, that's one thing. But if you're trying to game this so you can get a lot of experience, expose your kids to some different competition, maybe some higher competition, maybe find out where you're at, put some adversity on them, I think it's a good strategy. And that's one way to look at this schedule when you're a Quad A school. Now, is this going to work for everyone? I don't think so. But if you look at this schedule, and I'm using him as the example, and of course, our travel budget is going to be interesting this year for most of these games. That's one way that you can take advantage of is this regular season going to be as meaningful? Well, if you throw some adversity into the schedule, look, you better show up every week. You might be getting into the playoffs, but do you want to ease into the playoffs, or do you really want to test yourself? And I think he's going to challenge those kids. So I like the schedule. I like the philosophy to take advantage of that scheduling quirk. For me, I think the regular season should matter. Always should matter. What you do in the postseason is completely different than the regular season, but I think the regular season should matter. Like Marshall softball, finished second, so had a better spot in the tournament. It didn't translate into win, but it did reward the performance in the regular season, and I think that's important. If you have an outstanding regular season, you should be rewarded for it. It should matter. If you had an okay regular season, you should be positioned accordingly. The better your regular season, the better your chances are to win your postseason tournament. You're put in a better spot. You get to secure home field, or you get to have an easier path to the championship depending on your sport. So I think you have to do everything you possibly can to make the regular season matter. I just don't know if we need 4 classifications. Should there be 3 classifications? Should there be 4 classifications? You've got this state where does the geography allow for you to have sections and regions where you can base your schedule off of that? Districts, can you make it work? And again, I remind everyone that if you didn't get a chance to listen to it yesterday, and I did apologize yesterday for the chaos, but we did get it recorded. Wayne Ryan interviews posted now. You can go to our website and listen to it there, or you can get it on the podcast. It's available Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. Let's keep those texts coming. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. More coming up on today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Mom's been cleaning up after you for years. Isn't it time you return the favor? This Mother's Day, give Mom the break she deserves with a clean car. No effort required. From May 7th to May 11th, enjoy 50% off all single washes when you purchase online. It's the perfect way to show her you care, because she's earned more than just flowers this year. She's earned shine from Thoroughbred Express. Hurry, offer available online only at thoroughbredexpress.com.
Big flavors, big savings, and top-notch quality. Only at Food Fair. Food Fair is excited to announce 3 new signature brands. Food Club brings families together with delicious, high-quality meals without the name brand price. Craven Flavors satisfies your cravings with bold, mouth-watering snacks, pizzas, and sweet treats. And Simply Done makes life easier with household essentials that get the job done right. Visit Food Fair today and enjoy the quality and savings in every aisle. Foodfairmarkets.com.
At University of Maryland Global Campus, we give our students credit where credit is due. Credit for deciding in the middle of rush hour traffic to go back and get their bachelor's and a promotion. Credit for managing 3 kids, 2 dogs, and a full-time job to pursue an MBA. And credit for serving in the military by day so they can study cybersecurity at night. For over 75 years, we've been helping students receive the credit they deserve. With more than 135 degrees and certificates, students at UMGC can use prior learning or relevant experience to earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's, and graduate students can transfer up to 12 credits toward their master's. At UMGC, you'll find everything from online to hybrid courses and lifetime career services to scholarship opportunities, making your education journey flexible, fast, and affordable. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start May 14th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at Hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. That's Hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Buddy's All-American Barbecue is now in Milton. Enjoy all your favorite Buddy's classics like pulled pork, brisket, ribs, and more on East Main Street in Milton. Buddy's All-American Barbecue, the home of great barbecue, ice-cold beer, and killer wings in Huntington and now in Milton.
Truck accident? Tom Boggs is here for you in Huntington, and he's brought the expertise of Warner Law Offices with him.
Call 345-6789.
Anyone can choose to make a difference. You can help people succeed, rebuild after disasters, protect the environment, or feed the hungry. Not only will you make a difference for others, but for yourself. You can earn money for college, learn career skills, and make friendships that last a lifetime. Make a difference. Choose your future. Choose AmeriCorps.
Brought to you by Volunteer West Virginia, the West Virginia Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Sweetie, want some fruit? You have to use the right tool for the job. A power drill is the wrong tool to slice fruit. Just like an antibiotic is the wrong tool to treat viruses, including colds and flu. Antibiotics are only needed for certain bacterial infections. When they aren't needed, antibiotics won't help you, and the side effects could still hurt you. Ask your healthcare professional when an antibiotic is the right tool and when it's not. Visit cdc.gov/antibiotic-use.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Follow at Paul Swann on X for Marshall sports updates and more.
Welcome back to our Friday edition of The Drive. Our text line is still open, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We've got a basketball update just before we hit the air. Marshall University announcing through its social media accounts that Emily Bratton has joined the Marshall women's basketball team. What I've found out about her so far is she's a guard. She's 5'7". She is out of Carroll, Ohio, and she played last season as a freshman for the Miami Redhawks. At Miami, she played in 18 games, made her career start versus Duquesne in the WNIT, and she averaged under 3 points a game, also brought in a rebound and averaged 0.6 assists per contest. She did have a game of 14 points and 3 assists versus Tiffin. She scored 9 points in a win at Kent State, had 6 rebounds at Dayton, and she had a lot of potential, which I think that's still there. Coming out of high school, she averaged 23 points coming out of high school, and she also was averaging over 7 rebounds a game, almost 6 assists, and almost 5 steals. And from her senior season stats, she was 43% from behind the line, and she was named first-team Ohio as a junior. She also was a finalist for Miss Basketball in Ohio in her senior year. She earned Conference and District 11 Player of the Year honors as a junior and senior. And this offensive output wasn't just a one-year thing. She was also pretty good the previous season over 20 points a game. So she has been announced as a new signee for the Thundering Herd. Hopefully we'll find out more about her as the weeks progress. Also, from the social medias today, we found out that former Marshall safety J.J. Roberts, guess what? He's got a number now. The number is going to be 36. It was previously worn by safety Ryan Neal. So JJ now will be number 36. And speaking of additions to the Thundering Herd, we found out yesterday, and of course, yesterday was kind of a blur going with our power outage. And again, I apologize for everyone sitting there wondering what's going on. Same emotion for me. We didn't get a chance to talk too much about former West Virginia and Houston running back Tony Mathis Jr. He committing to the Thundering Herd. Now, he's got some experience at WVU in Houston, rushed for 943 yards, 6 touchdowns in 30 games with the Mountaineers before he transferred to Houston. Did miss the 2024 season with a torn ACL, but he was granted a final year eligibility. He was originally recruited by Dana Holgerson, and he did stick with WVU during the change. And then he went to Houston, but unfortunately, as we just mentioned, the ACL did not help him in finishing out his career, so he did get that final year eligibility. And so now we're seeing some more Power 5 experience coming into Huntington. And so there's another tie-in. I'm not saying that we're going shopping for former WVU players, but you're seeing some connections, some players, some in-state players, some players that have some connection coming back to the state or not working out in Morgantown, deciding let's give it a shot at Marshall. Maybe Marshall will be a little bit more receptive. There is the possibility. So he's going to be interesting to watch. Spent last year recovering, so fall camp's going to be really important for him. How's he going to fit in for the Thundering Herd? How's he going to fit in? Is the running back room getting loaded? Is he going to be someone that can maybe lead the way? Should you worry about being out so long? Is he fully recovered? Now, Marshall started to get this reputation for being almost running back just about, and give credit to former head coach Charles Huff. He was the running back specialist. He was a guru at that position, or at least that was the pitch when he took the job. Hey, this guy, he's got a pedigree in running backs, and I think he definitely lived up to the hype on that. So can Marshall follow that up and make the running back great again at Marshall under Tony Gibson? I think we're going to see more of a ground attack. I think the passing game will still be dynamic, but I believe we're going to see more of a ground attack from the Thundering Herd. So I'm interested to see more about what he brings to the table, how he's going to adjust, and if there's going to be any concern with the long layoff. How well has he recovered? Is he ready to go? Is he going to be able to get up to speed by the time the season begins? 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255 is our text line to be a part of today's show here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. As you look at some of the pieces that are making their way to Huntington, some of the players, are you starting to feel that you have a handle on what this offensive identity really is going to be? I don't take anything I saw at the spring game as meaning anything other than, okay, here's some basic plays. Here's a kind of look at what we're going to look like. But at the same time, we're not showing you much. We're not showing you everything. And then, of course, with so many players leaving after the spring game, I don't think it matters. You can leave before the spring game. You can leave after the spring game. I know some schools are pushing spring games back until after the portal, and there are a lot of schools that are also closing spring games or not having them anymore because they don't want people to get a look at their team and then have a lot of offers out there. Hey, we can make you a better deal here. You look great in spring. We'd like to have you come here. We've seen that in a couple of places. I don't know if that's going to get to the point here in Huntington where you just lock this thing down. I know it's already tough enough for a lot of Herd fans that practice has been locked down. That used to be the thing. get to go hang out, just watch the team, and then Coach Huff came in and said, no, we're locking that down, and that seems to have continued so far, and I don't blame coaches for doing that. You don't want everyone seeing what you're doing. Show them a few things, but you want to generate excitement, but at the same time, it's so difficult in college sports compared to the pros because everybody's got to release an injury list. It's transparent. I mean, that's the one thing I love about the NFL. It's transparent. I do know if a player is possibly going to be playing or not, if he's injured or not, and I'm not saying it's designed to help the gambling portion of the audience, but it does help. Okay, I have a pretty good idea of what's going to happen here. College football, completely different animal. Even though we're getting closer to a pro model or at least a mirroring of what pro football looks like, you're not going to get too much of a word out of any coach. How healthy are you, Coach? Oh, we're great. What's the running back situation? Oh, we'll have some guys out there. Any injuries to report? Nah, we're good. No, can't really comment on anything right now. You know how it is. You ask those questions, you get those same repetitive answers. It's almost everywhere. It's not just Marshall. It's everywhere. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. More coming up on this edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
With Gomart. Each month, we're featuring a special item to fuel your journey and score you bonus reward points in our Road to Rewards promotion. Each purchase earns you a token, so load up and keep cruising toward big rewards. Plus, the top 25 token earners each month will receive 5,000 additional bonus reward points. Check the Gomart app to see this month's featured item. And as always, earn additional savings on products store-wide with reward member exclusives. Go to Gomart.com for more details.
Save big on everything for your next project when you shop at Menards. Finish your outdoor wood projects with Cabot Premium Wood Care products. Australian timber oil is an exterior stain that provides maximum penetration, durability, and water repellency, making it ideal for decks, siding, outdoor furniture, and more. Save big money at Menards on Cabot Premium Wood Care products. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
Hi, I'm Nori, and over the years, my mother and I have opened our homes to those who need it most, and it's been so rewarding. I bet you didn't know that some adults who have unfortunately been mistreated need a place to call home in West Virginia. It happens more than you know. They may have some physical or mental limitations, and they need your help. Everyone deserves a place to call their own. I can tell you from my experience, it's worth it.
If you have an open heart and want to open your home, Adult Family Care may be the right fit for you. Call the Department of Human Services and ask to speak to an Adult Family Care Home Finder at 304-269-6820. Sponsored by the West Virginia Department of Human Services, the West Virginia Broadcasters Association, and this station. This project is supported by the Administration for Community Living, ACL, of the United States, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, as part of a financial assistance award totaling $1,227,345, with 100% funded by ACL HHS. The contents are those of the authors and do not necessarily represent the official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL HHS or the U.S. government.
If you need to hire, it seems like the whole process can be exhausting. You search resumes, wait for the right candidates to apply, set up initial interviews. It's a lot of time and work. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates for your job the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all, you save time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today, talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. Once again, go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Introducing your newest five-star Chevy dealer, hailing from exit 34 off I-64. It's the all-new Cardinal Chevrolet, the Tri-State's fastest-growing Chevy dealer with over 150 vehicles ready to roll. Every purchase comes with their exclusive Cardinal Care program, including a lifetime powertrain warranty on new, 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage on used, plus lifetime tire rotations, West Virginia state inspections, and alignment checks. price. Vehicles for every budget, every credit type. Cardinal Chevrolet is here to get you driving. Visit them at exit 34 off I-64. Online at cardinalchevy.com. This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Miss an episode? Catch it anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We continue on with today's edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line is brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Here, interesting one that came in just a couple minutes ago. Texter says, Paul, the coach who started bringing in good running backs is former running back coach Pepe Pearson. I appreciate the text. Do you remember the running back he's probably most associated with? What do you think? You think you know it? It's Brendan Knox, Conference USA's most valuable player, Brendan Knox. And so Marshall had a good run with Coach Pearson. Absolutely. Right now, he is at Tarleton. He has had a pretty good career there so far. So Tarleton State, enjoying his success. But you go back and you look at what he was able to do, and you got to say Brendan Knox. You have to. You're just not doing it right if you don't mention him and you bring him up in conversation. Now, where does Brendan Knox rank in the all-time running back list? I'm going to put him in my top 10. I don't know where I'm going to slot him just yet, but he's in my top 10. My top 10, and this is not in any order because we can debate that for another time, and I think we will. Chris Parker, he's in your top 10. Ahmed Bradshaw, in your top 10. Doug Chapman, in your top 10. Ron Darby, in your top 10. Jackie Hunt, in your top 10. Oh, Jackie Hunt's got to be there. Then you got to start finding some room for some other guys. And I think Rasheen Ali in your top 10, right? Brendan Knox in your top 10. I'm going to let you guys finish this thing out for me. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255 to be a part of today's edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Just get ready. Those debates are coming soon as we get into the summer months and we need show content. Those debates are coming soon. Get your homework ready. I'm going to drag back in here one of my former interns. We had a project for him last year. I actually passed him. I gave him an A in the internship, but yet I don't have the all-time herd nemesis team that we were going to put together. The all-time herd nemesis team. So that's going to come back, and I'm just going to drag some folks in here who owe me some assignments. I might have you guys help me with that as well. So I think that's something we're going to have fun down the stretch. A couple other items I wanted to get into today as we've got time, and of course keep those texts coming. We will get those in as the show continues. Cincinnati Bengals today signing 13 rookies. Some notable additions to the team. Peyton Thorne, quarterback from Auburn. Cole Taylor, tight end out of West Virginia. Howard Cross III, defensive tackle from Notre Dame. Seth McLaughlin, center from Ohio State. Eric Gregory from Arkansas. And the Bengals are trying to strengthen and solidify. I don't know if the draft really did that, and I'm still a little annoyed that Mike Green got away from the Bengals. I don't know how I feel about this so far, but they're adding some defense, trying to reinforce the interior line, trying to, I hope, keep teams off the scoreboard a lot better because offensively, they could go with anybody. Defensively, though, that team was a sieve. It was very porous, and so I'm hoping that the Bengals have addressed everything in a way that's going to give this team a chance because you get Joe Burrow out there and he gets hot, this team can score with the best of them. You just got to keep teams off the board. I mean, it was kind of almost video game-like going out there. The Bengals would score, the other team would score. The Bengals would score, the other team would score. And the Bengals might have had the better offense on the field, but the other team had a better defense on the field because Cincinnati definitely didn't. So it's kind of a classic mix. You look at what they're bringing in, Big 12 talent, Big 10 talent, SEC talent, just a classic mix for the Cincinnati Bengals. Sticking with what's happening the rest of the way tonight, I got to get into quickly baseball. Braves got the win in 11 over the Reds, 5-4. Atlanta walks it off. Reds are going to open up a 3-game set in Houston tonight. First pitch set for 8:10. Wow. I don't know if you were able to stay up for this one, but Reds manager Terry Francona and first base coach Colin Cowgill ejected in the 11th inning of the game. The ejection occurred after Cowgill argued a blocking call, and Francona requested a replay review of a tag. The Reds right now are 0-4 in extra inning games and 4-7 in one-run games. And, of course, our game coming up tonight, 6:15, is going to be the airtime. Pirates taking on the Braves. This will be the first game since the Pirates parted ways with manager Derek Shelton. Guardians taking on the Phillies. That's coming up tonight at 7:10. NBA playoffs, Cavaliers taking on the Pacers. That's tipping off at 7:40 tonight. Nuggets playing host to the Thunder. That's going to be a 10 o'clock start. NHL playoffs coming up tonight. Maple Leafs going to be at the Panthers. That's game 3 set for 7 o'clock. The Toronto Maple Leafs looking pretty good right now. 2-0 after 2 tight wins. 5-4 in game 1 and 4-3 in game 2. Both losses obviously stung for Florida, especially after they gave up goals less than 20 seconds after scoring some real key momentum builders in each game. Unfortunately for Florida, Toronto's looked better in this series. The Leafs got it done at home now. Can they take it on the road? Stars taking on the Jets coming up tonight, 9:30. Winnipeg's looking to bounce back after a rough game 1. It was shaky. They have been shaky defensively. They got one of the best goaltenders in the game right now. But the Jets have allowed 26 goals over their last 6 games. Jets don't want to go back to Dallas down 2-0. So this is going to be a big one tonight. So Jets, Stars, Maple Leafs, Panthers. Got some compelling matchups coming up. You know where I'll be tonight watching those games. And, of course, I'll be keeping an ear on the Pirates and Braves. I think one thing we can all agree on, nobody likes the Braves. And if you have friends that are Braves fans, you really don't like them. You just tolerate them. Unless they're in the family, and then I guess you kind of have to like them maybe. It's like I know a lot of Braves fans. I mean, I like them, but I don't because they're Braves fans. Like, you would be a really great person if you just weren't a Braves fan. That's just how I've been all my life. And it all got started because the Braves are the only team on TV for the most part. You wanted to watch baseball, well, turn on the Superstation TBS. There's Braves baseball. Had the best television package going back in the day. And, of course, Dale Murphy, too. I'm not going to lie. I was a Dale Murphy fan. That's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back with you on Monday. Hope you have a great weekend. Don't forget, if you missed anything today, like to go back and catch a previous episode, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or you can head over to WRVC.com. We've got all the episodes posted there. Easy for you to find. Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll talk to you on Monday.
Broadcasting from the Dave & Buster's studios. Eat, drink, play, and watch at Dave & Buster's in the Huntington Mall. ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. WRBC, W231BS Huntington.